Now with an update on that baton blunder making headlines, Tam, you can see it here. The high school track runner accused of attacking her opponent with a baton is now facing assault and battery charges. All this happened during a relay race at the Virginia High School League Championships. Kayleen Tucker was gaining speed on Layla Everett when Everett appeared to suddenly swing her baton, hitting Tucker in the back of the head. Everett calls it an accident and says she lost her balance.
So let's talk about this baton story, and we're going to figure out how racism got involved in this whole thing, because these are two black athletes who got into an altercation and people are screaming the whole thing is racist. So let's talk about it. Okay, before we get into the whole racism issue in this story, which I don't know how it developed, let me give you the details on what happened. Now, I got to take you back to March 4th, 2025, and this is a high school track at Liberty University in Virginia. Now, this is Layla Everett. She's a senior, and she's participating in the 4x200 meter relay. Now, that's when Kayleen Tucker, another participant, started passing Layla during the race. And then this happened.
Incident from a Virginia state championship relay race last week has made headlines. You can see Layla Everett appearing to use her baton to hit her competitor, Kayleen Tucker, from a different school in the head. Tucker told our affiliate in Roanoke, Virginia, she was diagnosed with a concussion and possible fractured skull.
So, since there are two sides to every story, let's hear from each of these young ladies, and they're going to give you their perspective on what they believe happened. So, let's start with the young lady who was hit with the baton. Here's how she saw the events.
When you get on the other side of the track, you have to cross into lane 1, you have to merge in. And as I was coming up on her, she kind of like made me like get cut off a little bit, so I backed away. And then as we got around the curve, she kept bumping me in my arm. And then finally when we got off the curve, I like slowly started passing her, and then that's when she just hit me with the baton and I fell off the track.
Kayleen ran off the track and her mother ran onto it. Team trainers came to her aid, and the opposing school, IC Norcom, was quickly disqualified. But the damage had already been done. I
could feel like a headache coming up, so I just set out. But I recently went to the doctor and they prescribed me with a concussion and a possible fractured skull.
So if we're looking at this as a court case, that's the plaintiff's whole argument. I was on the track, running, this is what happened, and ended up with a fractured skull and concussion because this woman hit me in the back of the head. Now let's hear from the defendant, the woman who actually hit this young lady with the baton.
Could you just walk us through that day and just that lap? Could you just walk us through that?
As I was merging, I was coming from lane 6. She was in one of the inner lanes. So all I see is one person in front of me. I'm like, okay, I'm in second place. We get to the curve and I feel someone coming up on me, and I see like yellow in my peripheral vision. So I'm running and she's just getting closer and closer to the point where like she's up on me, and my baton is her elbow, like her arm's really hitting my baton to the point where I lost balance. And then it literally went behind her back. I'm in a position like this. It rolls up her back. My arm goes up because it rolled up her back. My body twisted. The curve is that way. I have to run that way. So I'm like this in the air. I catch my balance, pump my arms. She's cutting in. So when I pump my arms, she got hit. And I kept the baton up afterwards because she was running off of the track and I didn't want to hit her again. And when I seen her run off the track, I wanted to help her. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she initiated it. I'm sorry I hit her. I didn't mean to hit her. It was intentional, but I'm going to pass the baton off. After I passed it off, it was people around her, and I'm like, oh, what if they think it was on purpose? So I asked my coach what to do.
So now, clearly you've heard from both sides. And since they're charging her with assault and battery, the first question should be, well, what's a battery? Well, Virginia courts have defined a battery as a simple touching another willfully or in anger. And this includes touching done in rudeness or in insult. This also includes being touched by an object set in motion by the accused, such as whips or, in this particular case, a baton. Now, for the defendant in this case to get out of the battery charge, they'd have to show that this wasn't intentional. It's not willful. As you you heard the young lady say this was an accident. She didn't mean to hit her in the head. She just lost balance and the baton hit her in the head. And that defense would likely work in a battery case. But again, that's only if the jury buys it. So now the next step in the process is police and prosecutors have to determine if there's probable cause to arrest this young woman for battery. Now, probable cause is best defined as a reasonable belief backed by some type of evidence that a crime has been committed and the person that you are about to seize or arrest had committed that particular crime. Now, this can't be a hunch or some suspicion. It has to be backed by some evidence. For instance, like in this case, you have a video of the young lady actually striking the other woman with the baton. Well, police and prosecutors looked at this case and determined that they believed they had enough probable cause to charge the young lady with assault and battery.
Well, back now with an update on that baton blunder making headlines, Tam. You can see it here. The high school track runner accused of attacking her opponent with a baton is now facing assault and battery charges. All this happened during a relay race at the Virginia High School League Championships. Kayleen Tucker was gaining speed on Layla Everett when Everett appeared to suddenly swing her baton, hitting Tucker in the back of the head. Everett calls it an accident and says she lost her balance.
So I'm like this in the air. I catch my balance, pump my arms. She's cutting in, so when I pump my arms, she got hit.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Tucker suffered a concussion from it. The judges disqualified Everett, who says the public scrutiny has turned into harassment and death threats.
Death threats, racist people, people making fake accounts to talk and harass me on my page.
And the Everett family has apologized. The assault and battery charge would be a misdemeanor.
So now, if you slow this video down and really look at this altercation, it really looks like she was hit in the head intentionally. Now, we don't know what was going on in the young lady's head, but you can come to a conclusion based on the facts and circumstances that you see. Was she just upset the other girl was running past her? Now, on the other side, there could be an argument that this was just a tragic accident and that there was no intent to harm this other person. If that's the case, then you'll be not guilty. So I don't know how this is going to play out.
She pumped her arm forward to regain her stride, and that's when Tucker got hit. But for many watching the viral video that shows the incident from the front, they think it was intentional.
Or just seeing one video and it looks bad from that angle.
A certified USA track and field official even slowed down the video to show just how close the two athletes were competing. And for anyone watching it with just the naked eye, it's just too close for anyone outside of these two athletes to call.
Leaving certain things out did so much damage to our family.
The Portsmouth NAACP released this statement in support of both families and called out the racial slurs and death threats that Layla and her family have received. Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison says a petition for 1 count of assault and battery has been issued. In response to that, Portsmouth NAACP saying, quote, "We are committed collectively to ensuring that the criminal justice system, which we feel is not warranted in this situation, is executed fairly and based on due process."
So let's wrap all this up. The state's going to say the defendant here did this intentionally and she caused harm to this other young woman. She has a skull fracture and a concussion, which makes this a simple battery because of the willful nature of it. While the defendant in this case is going to say this was just an accident. She was falling, lost balance, and accidentally hit the other runner in the head. And obviously you see who their expert witness is going to be, the other coach, saying that they were too close and accidents like this would likely happen. But it's not about what they're saying, it's about what you see. So now the NAACP's got involved and said, hey, we believe these charges are racist and we don't believe she should be charged at all. Now, understand this. This is one black woman hitting another black woman, breaking her skull. She literally had a fractured skull. And they're saying that because the attacker was black, she shouldn't be charged.
I love y'all.
Everett and her family were surrounded by support Thursday evening, speaking out at a rally organized by community members, all unified with one message.
Stand for Layla Everett! We stand for Layla Everett! First of all, we want to say unequivocally that Layla is not a criminal and she's not an attacker.
Portsmouth NAACP President James Boyd says it was important for him to attend this rally to discuss more on the statement the NAACP chapter put out in response to the now viral incident. Boyd says the most striking detail from all of the outrage is the fact that Layla faces an assault and battery charge, a charge he and the Lynchburg NAACP chapter aren't pleased with.
Our Lynchburg NAACP leaders had a meeting this morning with the Lynchburg Commonwealth Attorney. The purpose of that meeting was to go in and advocate that no charges should be levied against Layla.
He believes the charge of assault and battery did not stem from the office of the Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney, Bethany Harrison, but instead it possibly came from the parents of the other involved athlete, Kaylin Tucker.
So it could have lasting effects on her college admission, could have lasting effects on her scholarship.
So, just to be clear, this was a black athlete attacking another black athlete, giving her a concussion, and the NAACP doesn't want the person who attacked the other black individual to be held accountable. This is the whole problem. Criminals need to be held accountable. There's no excuse for what she did. And she can say it was an accident, but that's for a jury to decide. What she did was assault that other young woman, and she should be charged. Did you see an assault and battery here, or did you see a tragic accident? Let me know in the comment section. And again, if you're listening to my voice right now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.